Welcome back, everybody, here to the Identity V Premier Tournament. We are here in the early weeks of June, here for the second semi-final. Semi-final one, of course, going on at the same time over on Bortley's Twitch channel. But for now, we are here for that second semi-final matchup. The chess players up against CNCE, best of three, moving inwards. The winner moves to finals. The loser is out. I'm Colonel Cast. Joining me today is Milo. And how are you looking forward to this matchup?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am really looking forward to this matchup. I've been anxiously awaiting the semifinals, and with that extended into the finals, I'm super excited to see these matchups, especially today because we have some really good players on both teams here. Both of these teams, there's a reason they made it to the semifinals. There's a reason they made it this far, so it's going to be really exciting to see how they play today, and I'm super eager to see how everything plays out. How about you?
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun game. We have obviously an incredibly large list, not just in this matchup, but realistically, since we got to the round of 16, all of these teams have been absolutely elite tier talent, a ton of peak tier players, a ton of fantastic gameplay, and obviously some really good teams and matches before then. But once we've gotten down to this round of 16, quarters, now semifinals, we are up to the absolute best of the best here in the Identity V Premier Tournament, and we have a good one. CNCE coming in against a couple of tough matchups. Halcyon most recently was a close matchup there. The side of the chess team were up against Iron Thorns, so definitely some very high competition, some very high stakes, and I think this is going to be another close one here to try and make a way to the finals.
No, yeah, for sure. The players on these teams, like I said prior, very talented players. So what you're going to be seeing today, everyone, is like very high level gameplay. This isn't just any matchup. You're going to have to really, sit back, watch these matches, because I think this is going to be a good one. If anything, these matches and the finals coming up within the next week or so, you're going to want to check these out. I'm super eager for these matches to start, which, speaking on that, we are just deciding the coin flip and the map picks and bans as of right now. So once we get more information on that, we will let you know what's up with that.
And yeah, so we did go ahead and get that coin flip done. The chess players team called heads. The coin did land on heads. They opt to pick a map. Then we'll move on. CNCE are going to ban Moon River Park away. Then it will be chess picking up Hospital here. So definitely not a map that I would say we see super frequently. Hospital has definitely been known to maybe favor survivors a little bit, or at least some portions of the map definitely have some nice survivor-sided areas, some nice loops as well. So round one, I think this is definitely an interesting pick by chess players, and I'm interested to see what they have ready for it.
For sure. I'm personally a big fan of Sacred Heart Hospital, especially when I play Survivor, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the hunters, well as the survivors, manage this. There are a lot of, like you said, a lot of really good loop spots, and it's going to be, intriguing to see how these high tier players manage and utilize these like loop spots, really good kiting areas. But also, I find personally that Sacred Heart can be a weaker map when it comes to Hunter because there's just so many good kiting spots. But because, like I said, these are a lot of really high tier players, we're for sure going to see them utilize and manage to the best of their ability, and hopefully take a few good kills for the Hunter side. Or we could alternatively see a couple good escapes from the Survivor side. It's really just a matter of time, as we are inviting the players into the teams slowly but surely, just waiting for everything to get set up. So yeah.
Yeah, we do have CNCE electing to send their Hunter first. Again, obviously both sides will play the Hunter and Survivor, so not the most meaningful decision here, but are going to be sending in the CNCE Hunter first. I believe there's maybe some chats before the set about some of these happenings and potentially a little bit of planning from either side, but definitely going to be interesting to see. Is there anything you would expect? I'm personally keeping an eye out toward Goatman, but anything you're expecting round one?
No, yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that, Goatman. I'm also not particularly, I wouldn't be particularly shocked if we were to see any of the other, like, currently meta hunters, like Hullabaloo, potentially an Ivy or even an Opera Singer, but for the most part, I am expecting to see that Goatman, which, no complaints by any means. I personally find Goatman gameplay to be really intriguing to watch, especially at the highest level. So besides that, I do expect we're going to see a few of those more common hunter picks, but it is going to be exciting to see if we do see a couple more, like more niche hunter picks, a couple off meta picks, maybe a few tie hunters, and yeah. So besides that, I am hoping to see some, regardless of who the hunters are, I'm hoping to see some unique and really good gameplay no matter what happens from both sides and both teams.
And yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what these survivors want to go. Round one is obviously round one, couple different things that they can or should be expecting in this round one. Goatman, obviously just one of the possibilities that we've obviously both touched on a little bit, but definitely going to be interesting to see what these survivors have cooked up. Obviously expect some hunter bands to, or some survivor bands to potentially come in pretty clutch here. Depends on obviously the amount of research that we've seen coming out from the teams, and obviously at this point there are VODs for all of these teams. We've seen all of these teams play on stream a couple times, so definitely some time to go do some VOD review, try and take note of who's playing well, who's able to do what, and that'll just come down to getting into the game, which we do actually have all of our players in the lobby, so should be able to get this series started pretty quickly.
Yep, just a matter of time. Should be happening pretty soon. We'll be heading right into the picks and bans. Are there any survivor bans that you're expecting to see for round one?
I think there's definitely a couple. I think that if you're looking to play Goatman, there's a couple things. Antiquarian and Aeroplanist have always given Goatmans a little bit of problems. Puppeteer, just those tankier characters. But then you can always look at those just standard S-tier top class characters. Priestess, Seer, Mechanic. If any of them were to get banned, I would not be surprised at all. Maybe a Psychologist will get banned out later. Some good Rescuers. I'd expect to see Gravekeeper either picked up or banned.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely expecting to see Priestess banned, given that this is one of her better maps. Like, ever since, like, the earlier tournaments and KOAs, we've always seen, regardless of her nerfs, Priestess be utilized on Sacred Heart Hospital really well, so I wouldn't be shocked if she was one of the earlier bans. I also wouldn't be shocked if she wasn't banned at all, because, like you said, with Goatman being one of the more likely choices for round one, it's possible that most of the bans could be containing tanks, but we're gonna have to see. We are heading right into the picks and bans as we speak.
Yeah, we will see what it is going to be here. It is Violet hunting for the side of CNCE, so we'll see what these bans are going to be from them, and obviously what the pick is going to be coming up after that, as it's going to be the Antiquarian and Mechanic, so I definitely think we might be looking at a Goatman angle.
For sure, like you said, those two can sometimes give him some trouble. Ooh, hold on. Okay, immediately, the first two survivor picks are going to be Seer and Psychologist, two really solid tanks. So it looks like the survivors are preparing for that Goatman already.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see, as you mentioned, just a fair bit of tankiness. Obviously, Psycho Whistle can really help out in some clutch late game decision making and moments. So we'll see if that is going to be it. And there's a ban I was not expecting. Forward on 3.
Forward ban. I suppose, I mean, he's a good harasser. He can pull distance. He can get many things with his ability, albeit it is quite limited, as the rugby ball can run out pretty fast. But really a fair ban, as the third pick from the survivors is going to be Aeroplanist.
And yeah, this is kind of one of the, I'm going to say vague concerns that I have with the picks coming out from the survivors here, is chess are investing really heavily. These are 3 very, very strong characters that they can't touch for the rest of the set anymore. Seer, Psychologist, and Aeroplanist are 3 very good characters, and while maybe Aeroplanist only prefers to play into the Goatman, or maybe you aren't super concerned about playing Seer later, these are definitely 3 characters that you would like to at least have available later in the series, maybe draw out some bans. And Mind's Eye last pick in round 1.
Oh my god. The first 3 picks were so standard, and then we just see that surprise Mind's Eye pick. Wow, they don't have a traditional rescuer besides Aeroplanist, really. He's good at rescuing, but they don't have a first officer, they don't have a gravekeeper. And I mean, yeah, the closest thing they have would be the Aeroplanist.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit concerned about this survivor comp. Obviously, as we both noticed, there is not really a rescuer. Maybe expects a Tide Turner or 2 to come out. Maybe we get some Tide's Eye. I don't know. Maybe we'll see some cooking. But I'm definitely a little bit concerned here. If these early kites go poorly for the survivor side, this can turn into a very quick, very aggressive snowball for the CNCE Hunter.
for sure. This is definitely a risky team comp, but these are very high tier players. The chess player survivors are going to be, like these are like very good survivors. We're gonna have to see how they work with these characters. All I know is that I'm really excited to see Seer come out because he's banned so frequently, as well as I have personal bias towards liking his gameplay. So really eager to see that, as well as Mind's Eye is always interesting to see because she's just so not commonly picked.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting here
Oh,
for the survivors. I think they'll really just need to show some very dominant performances in these kites, but it is going to be the Hula, so they don't want to try and overcomplicate things with the Goatman. They see 3 characters that don't really have kiting tools, unless you want to count Seer Owl or things in the Persona tree, but Seer, Psycho, and Mind's Eye, again, ignoring Owl, don't really have a lot to help them kite, aside from, obviously, the occasional extra little bit of tankiness at the start of the game for a couple of the characters. But this could definitely become concerning if the Hullabaloo is able to get some good quick downs.
right, for sure. Hullabaloo is just such a good pursuit hunter. He can get very fast downs, especially once he has presence. So, yeah, like, even though we do have 2 solid tanks on the team, it's only a matter of time before the resources eventually dwindle. So, really, we're going to have to see who the first chase is going to be here, because I feel like that first chase is going to be crucial.
Yeah, we'll see the talents come out here. It is going to be double tied for the Psycho and the Aeroplanist. It'll be 3 flywheels for the Mind's Eye, Aeroplanist, and the Seer, with a knee jerk on the Seer, on the Psycho, and on the Mind's Eye. So no borrowed time here. The survivors not really looking to try and get into a big team fighty late game, as considering the comp not really the biggest surprise of all time. So definitely looking to get maybe an escape or 2 here, is obviously again going to come up to a lot of the how the survivor gameplay goes early for them. Is again, I think this first or second kite are going to be really important for the survivor team.
This team is already, the team comp itself is so risky, so I feel like they're already taking a gamble with the characters. So I feel like carrying no borrowed time here just to hopefully secure a good early to mid game, to hopefully get one person out in the end game. It really isn't the worst idea here with the comp that they have. So it's going to be really interesting to see, as it seems that the Hullabaloo spawned relatively close to the Psychologist or the Aeroplanist. He could go into Hospital to chase that Mind's Eye. Actually isn't too far from the spawn point, but we're just going to have to wait and see. We're just waiting for the match to start. So the round 1 first half of CNCE versus chess players is going to be starting momentarily.
Yeah, I definitely think this could become a little bit of a concern for this Hulla, as again, he has 3 characters who he would absolutely love to chase. They have just no kiting abilities here, aside from, again, the Owl or the Stress. But if you go toward the Psychologist, you are going into arguably the strongest looping setup on this map, especially pre-trapeze for this Hullabaloo. Yeah. So if you go toward the Psycho, you could potentially get outskilled by the side of Hamster. If you go to the Mind's Eye, potentially risk wasting a lot of time looking for them. Can't really go for the Seer, considering you'd have to cross the entire map. And if he goes for the Aeroplanist, you're first chasing the only person with good items for it.
Yeah. God, it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I'm really excited here as we're just loading right into the match, right about to start, as we see the Hullabaloo. We're going to see who he's about to go after, which... Oh, heading towards the hospital first.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. The camera angle doesn't necessarily fully show which way he's going quite yet. If he goes up the stairs here, it's definitely going to be onto the Mind's Eyes. At least doesn't look like he's going to the Seer, so we'll see how long Eve is able to stay hidden or stay alive. It is going to be Peepers coming down for the Hulla, as Mind's Eye getting straight onto the kite is definitely an ideal target. Get this decoder pressured early, so we'll see how the side of Hulla is able to do. Does get that red stage on to start it out. As nice start there with the double surprise. We'll see if they can land the second one here at the top of the stairs, but not going to get another early mark. So Mind's Eye gets upstairs. We'll get to this pallet in time. Not going to get the stun, but a bit of time bought.
Yeah, it's also important to note that this Hullabaloo does not have insolence as we usually see. He has Trump Card and Detention, so not the most common build. However, I do respect it considering it's more recent nerf. So it's going to take a bit before he gets his trapeze to more properly, take control of the map and get over those good looping spots. Mind's Eye already doing really good looping the hospital, utilizing everything she has to extend the kite. And look at the ciphers; they're already really well.
And I mean, yeah, this is amazing pressure by the survivors on these ciphers, as you mentioned, 90, 90, 80%. As again, amazing progress. And Mind's Eye still just now taking that first hit. Flywheel available to try and tank up that next one, as it will be 2 marks down
Ooh.
on to the Mind's Eye. Keep an eye on this Seer Owl, though. Seer is watching the chase at the moment, and if this Mind's Eye is able to get a good bait here on this red mark, this could be a very, very early hit. As the Owl comes in, really, really nice by 233S.
Wow.
Pilot gonna jump over here, and this Mind's Eye now has done 3 full ciphers worth of kiting, and even if they go down now, we'll see if they can get a good flywheel. As no, the double surprise just
Oh.
misses, and Eve kites for longer without using this flywheel, and if this is a good flywheel, that could be the game for this Hula, as it's already started out so poorly.
No, yeah, for sure. Oh, nice flywheel to that pallet. Will we see the cane come into play, though, to decrease the interaction speed of the Hullabaloo? Or, no, he's just going to loop. Yeah, no, the Mind's Eye realizes that her kite is probably not going to be able to be extended so much longer, just heads into the corner as far as possible. Because at this rate, every second bot is crucial. So even if it's like 1 or 2 more seconds more before the hunter is able to chair her, it's important. So yeah, that's going to be the Mind's Eye chair for the first time. The last 2 sabers are at 38 and 72 right now, so already really good from the survivor side. And it seems that the Aeroplanets is going to be coming in for the rescue. Feeding Tinnitus right now, just staying hidden for a little bit.
And yeah, I mean, look at the ciphers. 3 are done, 95 and 60. And again, this Hula does have detention. And well, you mentioned it earlier, it's not necessarily the most common thing that we see on Hula. It is going to be what the side of Violet is running here. So if the survivors make a key mistake or two, this certainly could still end as a tie, maybe even salvage a 3K, but definitely going to need a little bit of fortune to make that happen. As Mind's Eye does hit this second set, it will be a move on toward the Aeroplanist now, really looking to try and get some early hits, but really nice thruster. And this is going to be a no-hit rescue. Hullabaloo going to be pressuring onto the Mind's Eye again. This Cypher is popped, though. This could be a 3 escape here for the survivors. Again, no borrowed time, so the Cypher is insta-popped. Mind's Eye has a tide turn to stall for a little bit. Detention available, so nobody can come save consistently, but Hullabaloo doesn't have a good way to get this down. He does turn the stage to get it, as he will get the hit. Tide turn are going to extend for a little bit longer, as Mind's Eye just trying to stall as long as possible, but this door is open. I think that should just be a 3 escape for the survivors here. They should all be over at that door, and we'll give them a moment to confirm that escape and get everybody out, but this should be a really, really, really good opening to the series here for the survivor side.
Yeah. That was really well played from the survivor team there. That was a very fast match, too. The Mind's Eye just kited so well in the first bit of the match, and I feel like the Hullabaloo having no insolence there really didn't do so well, because I mean, he just had very little pressure for the early game. The Mind's Eye kited him for so long. That hospital spawn was really good for her. She looped for a while. So yeah, really well played from both sides, but especially from that Mind's Eye there kiting for so long. We barely ever see Mind's Eye pick, so it's really nice to see, you know, representation for the fans of this character, because that was amazing. Like, hands down, that was an amazing kite.
And yeah, I mean, you look at Mind's Eye and you look at those passives, and you say Mind's Eye is inherently one of, if not the worst kiting character in the game, and while statistically it may be true, definitely not the showcase that we saw there from that Mind's Eye. Really good work on the first kite, was able to stall out for so long before even getting close to taking that first hit. The third Cypher was done before we really saw that danger start to come in, and then a really nice Seer Owl came in as well, and it just continued to extend in favor of Chess, and at the end of the day, they don't really have a problem letting that Mind's Eye die on chair. They get a 3 escape round 1, and while again, this series is far from its complete conclusion, that is a fantastic start for Chess.
Absolutely. No, yeah. That Seer Owl, I feel like that owl was really helped out the survivors there, because even being able to take that 1 extra hit on the side of the Mind's Eye, it really helped, because her kite went on for a while after it. So really well played from both the Seer and the Mind's Eye, as well as the rest of the team, for being able to Cypher Rush as much as they did, and just utilize their resources, their ciphers, and make sure that their end game, even through all of it, was, you know, amazing as amazing as it was. The Hullabaloo didn't even get max presence, it's important to note, throughout that match. So the Mind's Eye just kited for so long. Look, while the Hullabaloo did amazing, either way, both teams did really good here. It's just that Mind's Eye kited for so long, and the lack of insolence really did hurt the Hullabaloo.
And yeah, I mean, again, we talked about it a little bit with the trapeze early on, and not bringing insolence just slows your pace down really quickly. And while if
Uh-huh.
you do get early hits and get an early down, which Hullabaloo is very capable of doing, you can kind of negate that fact. And obviously, insolence doesn't get the most value if you do get that early hit. But in games like this, where to be completely honest, they just got base kited to oblivion, it gets
Hmm.
really, really rough there for the Hullabaloo. And at the end of the day, Chess played it really well. Notably, the Mind's Eye played it really well, and they walk away with a 3-1 to start the set, which round one for your survivors, a fantastic result.
Absolutely. And see, this is what I meant when I said that Hospital just has so many good looping areas, because that was like, I mean, like the mind's eye spawning in Hospital. You typically would put your decoder in, or like your weakest kiter in the Hospital in those spawns, but it really did work out for her because there was just so many walls and pallets to utilize. And without insolence from the Hullabaloo taking so long before he inevitably got his trapeze, it really didn't help with getting looped so fast. So that was really just good decision making, as we are going to be heading already into the round one second half with uh, chess players Hunter versus CNCE survivors.
As yeah, we'll see how this is going to go for the side of chesses. That is an interesting set of
Wow.
things. Perfumer Professor taken off the table.
Huh. Yeah, no, you really don't see those banned too often, and if you do, it wouldn't be the first two bans right off the bat. So really unique. I'm curious to see who this Hunter is going to play.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Fafa has something interesting cooked up here for us on
For
this
sure.
one. I mean, these definitely feel like they are target bans for some pick, and maybe that is just going to be the Goat Man. Maybe you don't want Perfumer to be able to take the back of those hits and get out of your cages. Professor could
Hmm.
do the same if he gets a good shield. Definitely, though, not the characters you would expect to be the two priority bans, but here is something interesting. We're getting another round one Mind's Eye.
Wow. That's double round one mindset. It's kind of reminiscent of the double round one Mad Eyes that we saw not too long ago. But wow, that's another, yeah, another round one mindset. That's definitely a shocker. But the third ban is going to be Seer, since very valid ban, but especially since last round the Seer played so well, it's very fair to not want to have to deal with that ever again. And that's going to be the Acrobat for the third pick. Another really solid pick on this map. A solid pick in general, in my opinion.
And yeah, Acrobat, as you mentioned, definitely a character that I'm not surprised to see it picked up. Maybe not a round one character that I'd immediately expect, but definitely not surprising to see Acrobat get played as Puppeteer final ban. They do have Knight and Acrobat as a half rescue as well, so not really concerned about rescue. They have Mind's Eye Lawyer, so it's going to be double
Wow.
decoding here with GME and Lawyer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, the survivors do kind of need to pull something back, so I'm not completely shocked by the fact that they might be trying to go for a somewhat cypher-rushy composition here.
And I mean, yeah, they definitely would love for Jeff on that Acrobat to be this first kite, is again wanting to use those items to try and get as much value as you can. But we'll see what Fafa goes. It is round one and you have a pretty nice lead, so you don't necessarily need to start using your absolute best characters. Could try and save them something like that Goatman or that Hula for round two. Maybe go for a stable tie here, still take the round win and not be that concerned with points. But we'll see what the ideology is going to be here from the chess players. Their namesake would certainly incline that they're thinking about all of these little decisions that they make when it comes to how they're going to play the set. So definitely going to be interesting to see what school of thought they go with on their quality of hunter choice.
For sure. And we are going to be seeing survivors adjust their builds for now, and it seems that the hunter is going to be choosing. We're just going to have to wait and see who it is. And yeah, that's just going to be a Goat Man, very standard round one pick.
And yeah, I mean, this isn't the biggest surprise in the world. I mean, you need to get 2 kills to win the round, and why not just play arguably the strongest character in the game? Acro, Knight, not necessarily the best characters when it comes to playing against the Goat Man, and obviously good Knight predictions are always going to be good Knight predictions, but this definitely isn't the composition that you would look at and say, this counters Goat Man. But we are going to get on into area selection here, as it is going to be a triple flywheel for everybody but the Acrobat, who is running the Soul Tide Turner, and then it's going to be a borrowed time on Acrobat on Knight with the double Sui on both Lawyer and TME.
So yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. I'm a little bit surprised to see that the Acrobat is the only one running Tide here because you typically do see a lot of Tide on Knight, but however, like you said, Acrobat can be a pseudo rescuer. It's not completely uncommon for him to carry Tide, so nothing too far-fetched, nothing too out of the ordinary. We're gonna have to see how the survivors work with their builds and the characters, as it seems the Goatman is going to be spawning in the same spot as the Hullabaloo did last round, with the potential chase options being the Lawyer, the Knight, or the Mind's Eye Hospital.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting here as Goatman doesn't really have the same restrictions as Hullabaloo at this point,
Yeah.
as isn't really concerned about trying to get presence to get his movement ability, as it is just his base attacks, as obviously with the cages he gets at presence 0, will be able to navigate these walls, so he definitely could just go for Lawyer and play around this arguably trickier loop, as again, Goatman doesn't really struggle the same way that basically every other character does, and I can't really imagine he would want to go for the Knight, but potentially not bringing Tide Turner on Knight to try and bait him for a first chase.
That would make sense. But like you said, I wouldn't be too surprised if the Lawyer was the first chase, as we are going to be heading right into the round one, second half of uh, the CC versus CNCE matchup.
As yes, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they try and play it, as we do get on in. Fafa going straight on to the Lawyer here, as we'll see how they do on it. Fafa looking for this first cage, just have quite a bit of resentment built up, so we'll just wait and see it to where they go ahead and send this first cage. They do finally spot this Lawyer confirmed, so we'll just wait and see where this cage goes down. Finally is going to get dropped here, as Lawyer going to try and navigate around and try and find a way to dodge this cage out. Fafa trying to get navigation going on, but is going to be a nice survive for the first cage here, as Lawyer going to look to hold on. Second cage comes out as Lawyer trying to get around, get back to this pallet, reuse these borders to dodge out on another cage. Fafa in the area, could try and get another hit, but no, goes on the wrong side of the wall. A second cage escape for the Lawyer here, as Goatman using up all that resentment now on this third cage, is needs to figure out what they're going to do here. Does have Blink available, but this cage not necessarily in the best spot, and it is just going to be a Blink hit to not waste a third cage in a row.
Yeah, Blink for first hit. Blink isn't exactly the most common trait on Goatman, so it is really interesting to see, but that Blink was utilized well. However, just like last match, the Cyphers are already moving very... Oh, no.
Oh, that's really unfortunate for the Goatman tempo. You have to wait resentment now, or you have to double hit this Lawyer for 3 total hits on him. As I would expect we just break this pallet here and then try and put a cage up. As yeah, that is going to be the play. 40 resentment now, so we can see Fafa go for something here on this Lawyer. It's a pretty unsafe loop at this point. Is yeah, not going to get the stun. Nice fly for the moment for the Lawyer. We'll see how long they can live after, but yeah, not going to be able to get back into the wall there. It is 3 Cyphers. Fourth one started now, as the a Lawyer goes down for the first time, and again, the survivors here definitely have the opportunity to turn this into a tie or a 3 escape.
Yeah, already really well played for these survivors, which considering what the conditions are to tie the round, they're in a really good position already. So the last 2 Cyphers are at 40 and 32%, so pretty good all things considered. It seems that they're going to be sending their Knight in to rescue.
And yeah, again, this is a no Tide Turner Knight, so not going to be able to get that value. If you get the hit after this Knight shield goes down, it will be nice. As first helmet does come out to bait the attack, bait the ability, and yeah, just waits it out, gets the down on to the Lawyer. So it is a pretty quick second down here. Again, obviously no Tide is going to make that happen, but again, look at these Cyphers. We're looking at 3 Cyphers completed, 85%, 70%, both being pushed at the moment. Lawyer doesn't have borrowed time, but this Knight certainly does, so there's still a lot they can make happen here. Goatman is going to come try and pressure onto the Knight here. Cage goes down, but he walks out of it again. Fafa burns another cage, and they are going to be kicking themselves at that one. Is coming back over to the rescue here. It is going to be Jeff's Acrobat with Tide Turner to try and make it happen. His last Cypher getting pushed up 83, 84, 85%, so close to getting it done. And while Lawyer doesn't have a borrowed time, the Goatman certainly, I don't necessarily think he knows. He should have seen a window goes, so potentially knows it won't be there. His last second save comes out. Tide Turner available here. We'll see if they can tank this hit on the Acrobat, who does have the borrowed time and would love to tank a hit on behalf of his lawyer. His lawyer is going to get hit here. Last Cypher will be popped. Attention comes out here. A quick hit onto this Acro could do wonders. His nice bomb there, but Tide hits onto the Acro, and it is going to be a double down here, so could still potentially pull a tie for the Goatman.
No, yeah, for sure. The Acrobat did stall very nicely though at that last rescue, albeit it was a double down. There's still plenty for the survivors to get at least a tie here, which, albeit it isn't tying the round, it's still a pretty good couple of points to get them back into closer to having a better position come round 2.
And yeah, based on the movement here, it is just going to be a double escape angle, it looks like, for the survivors. As Knight on his way over to that open gate, over toward the side of the Mind's Eyes. We'll give them a little bit of time, wait for this lawyer to go on chair, and we'll see if the survivors are feeling tricky as teleport comes out. Could see a cage, but no, it will be the double escape. So 2-2 in this round, but that is going to mean that it is going to be a nice 5-3 start for the side of chess.
For sure, no. Really well played from both teams there. That was a really good initial kite from that lawyer. However, the endgame pressure with getting that double down on the Goatman was really well. It was quite unfortunate to see the couple of missed cages and lost resentment from the Goatman, but still managed to pull it around. Really well played from Fafa there. As, yeah, like you said, it's going to be 5-3 as we are going to be heading into round 2 pretty shortly. So those are really good matches to watch. That was very high-level gameplay. So yeah, I'm still quite shocked with the double Mind's Eye in both rounds, but nonetheless, really well played from both sides. Really good gameplay to watch.
As, yeah, definitely a very solid set of rounds. Saw some really, really good kiting dominance there by these decoders. Mind's Eye game 1 obviously kited for well over 3 ciphers with a little bit of help from the Seer, and then obviously the lawyer in that game did a really good job on a couple of the cages, and Goatman maybe a misstep or 2 out of some of those cages that would have helped speed that game up, but at the end of the day, they were able to control it into a tie, which, while not necessarily the best result, they do still lose out on the round, which definitely isn't what they wanted to start this series down, but it is still a nice result considering the start of that game, and that could have very easily turned into a 3-man escape with 1 or 2 more mistakes, so good to control it and at least get that tie back, as now they just need to win this round and things will be all tied up.
Yeah, so we are going to be inviting the players already. We're going to be heading into coin flip pretty soon, so do you have any predictions for what the map pick might be for this round?
I mean, I definitely am not sure at this point, as obviously it won't be chess picking again, so we aren't going to see that hospital. The last time we saw CNCE, from what I saw of them, I believe they went Ever Sleeping when it was available, so we'll see if that is going to be the play. Obviously, I know you mentioned the Mad Eyes games. I'd love to see double Mad Eyes on Ever Sleeping once again. That was one of the sets of all time. I think that's all I can say about it.
For sure, for sure.
It's actually going to be the Ever Sleeping band from chess.
Yeah, no, pretty fair. Ever Sleeping's just a good map all around, in my opinion, so I think a pretty fair band. We're going to be seeing the map picked here in just a second from the side of CNCE.
And yeah, I wouldn't really be surprised by just some large map, maybe something of the sort of a Leo's, maybe could see a Chinatown come out here, Lakeside Village, all possibilities. As we'll give them a second to finalize this map pick for the side of CNCE. Can't go Moonlit, can't go Hospital, can't go Ever Sleeping. Everything else in the legal map pool, though, is going to be an option here, and it isn't what I expected. They're going to go to the Arms Factory.
Wow, so it seems like CNCE, given that it is Arms Factory, there's a chance they could be relying on their survivors, as Arms Factory does, similar to Hospital, have a lot of really good looping areas, but is pretty good for some of the hunters that are with map control, such as Ivy, for example. She really excels on smaller maps. So, nonetheless, a bit of a surprising pick, but a good one nonetheless. So, I said nonetheless twice in that sentence. But yeah, either way, really good pick, in my opinion. I love to see Arms Factory gameplay. It's really good for looping. The factory is always really good. So, yeah, some really good. Hello, we might be able to see some really good gameplay.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see again what is prepped up here. As we will, for a reminder, you'll of course see them pop up once we get into the pick band phase. But our global bands are going to be Seer, Psychologist, Aeroplanist, and the Hullabaloo. Of course, as we will be getting the chess player survivors coming up first. So definitely interested to see what we go for here. I would expect a Goatman band unless they don't believe Violet has a Goatman. But last time we saw Antiquarian, Mechanic, Forward, and Knight band. So we'll see if any of those are target bands that get repeated, or if we move on to something potentially akin to maybe that Priestess or that next tier of meta characters.
I feel like there are a lot of meta characters who uh, can utilize Arms Factory pretty well as some like Priestess who aren't exactly the best on this map, as it's one of the smaller maps, so not as much utilization from the long portals, and not so many long, like areas for the regular portals. So we could see her banned out because she is just generally a good pick regardless of the map. We also could just see her completely ignored, but we are going to be heading right into the picks and bans, so we're just going to wait and see.
Yeah, once again, it is going to be Violet the Hunter for CNCE going up against the side of the chess players. Same rosters, no substitutions. As, again, a little bit of player constrictions as we'll move onwards and get straight on through the series as we do enter second round, first half picks and bans, as we'll see what these opening survivor bans are. A little bit of hesitation here, so potentially still trying to finalize this decision, seeing what they want to ban, trying to track down the characters. Antiquarian going to be the first hover, could be the Antiquarian Mechanic again. We'll just wait and see what this alternate hover, and no, it's going to be a change over. Antiquarian First Officer.
So yeah, Benny had a really solid rescue, as well as Antiquarian, who in my opinion can utilize Arms Factory pretty well. They are going to be banning out, we're going to see though. Current hover for the Hunter ban is Opera Singer, we're just going to wait and see. But yeah, Antiquarian can utilize the looping spots on Arms Factory really well, so a very valid ban. But yep, that is going to be Opera Singer banned out from the side of the survivors already.
And so yeah, my expectation would definitely be that the chess survivors don't believe that Violet has at the least a scary Goatman, or scary enough to ban it away, but we'll see if that is going to be the pick that the Hunter wants to go for, or if they want to step away from this first tier of characters, which at this point you're kind of out with Hulla, Opera both banned, and Goatman in that situation unavailable. But we will see the survivor picks coming in. Forward previously banned in round 1, and then the Acrobat going to get picked up here for chess.
Yeah, we're going to be able to see the Acrobat again, who did pretty well, albeit for only a little bit of time the previous round. So, again, another pretty good map for Acrobat. There are a lot of really good areas to use your bombs on, but that is going to be Puppeteer banned out for the third pick. So, there's still a chance that we could see a Goatman. I mean, he is notoriously weaker to tanks, so it's going to be curious, as that is going to be Embalmer for the third pick. So, a pretty solid tie survivor, if I do say so myself.
And yeah, it kind of feels like that's what they're going for here. Forward, Echo, and Bomber. None of these are necessarily super standout kiters. And again, obviously, we've seen Mind's Eyes and Lawyers kiting for Cypher after Cypher after Cypher. So at this point, anybody can get anything done. But Forward, Acrobat, and Bomber, not necessarily that tier 1 of kiter like you would expect from an, obviously it's banned, but Antiquarian or something of that sort. Acrobat definitely going to be an ideal chase target for them, but they are just going to move over to Novelist. So just a ton of CC, a ton of stuns, a ton of effects that can just help stall this game out. So we'll see how the survivors do here, but this comp definitely feels like it's designed to get a tie.
For sure. It's also curious to note that the Prisoner was the last ban, which you don't really see that often, I gotta say.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit concerned about a potential Cypher Rush coming in. Not really expecting the mechanic on a map like Arms Factory, so don't want to let Prisoner go sit in one of his fancy little corners by some really stable loop and work on 9 Cyphers over the course of the matches. We'll see it move onwards as we'll see what Violet is going to go here. Obviously give the survivors a little bit to get their talents, their traits, and whatnot picked up here, but definitely going to be interesting. What would you want to go here if you see this composition?
Oh god, for this composition, I feel like it's like you said, there's a lot of like good, not necessarily tier 1 chase kiters here, but there is a lot of good support, like pretty decent kiters. So, It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like it is just going to be one of those more meta hunters to deal with this very tie-heavy composition and hopefully to secure something. But we are going to be able to see what the hunter is going to pick, and it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be Ivy. Not too shocking on the map like ARMS.
And yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of the picks that I thought would be one of the main options here for the Hunter if they play it. Is again, forward, acrobat, novelist aren't characters you really want to chase. Again, they're not necessarily the most OP kiters in the world, but you don't really want to get yourself caught up in the depths of a novelist chase and he stuns you out 9 times with metaphors. So Ivy definitely going to be one of those characters who can just kind of quit a chase whenever they want and go transition to somewhere else on the map and harass ciphers and whatnot. So definitely not the biggest surprise here into 3 characters who really can get good harassment played well.
Absolutely, and I feel like it's important to note that Novelist is actually pretty weak to Ivy, given that you have to look at the Hunter's face in order to get stacks of metaphor back. But given that it's Ivy, it's going to be a bit difficult, as we're going to see Flywheel on everyone on the team with Tide Turner on Novelist and forward, Full Kite on Embalmer, and Flywheel Borrow Time on the Acrobat, as these spawns are pretty unique. It seems like they're going to go 4 corners.
And yeah, I mean, I guess just try and make it as difficult as possible for this Ivy to get on to a mass of survivors. Obviously, once you start getting those Ostracons down, you can really take up a lot of the map and cut down a lot of places. But if your survivors are all incredibly far from each other working on corner ciphers, then don't really have to worry about that till the mid game. But we are going to see the Ivy spawn on this left middle tile. They'll be sandwiched between the Novelist and the forward. Can, of course, if they really want to, send that shadow across the map and try and harass this Acro or this Embalmer, but definitely would potentially expect this Novelist to become the first chase.
Yeah, I feel like he isn't in the greatest initial area to kite him, but there is a chance that he could alternate towards the Shack. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see, because like you said, there's a chance that the Shadow could just send the Yithian over to the other half of the map to immediately pressure, potentially change targets. So really, there are a lot of options for the Ivy here, but most likely the first chase is going to be this Novelist, because the forward is just in a really good looping area, and the Novelist is going to have to alternate to a better kiting area if he wants to hope for anything too much.
And yeah, it is worth noting we are going to have 4 flywheels on every survivor, Novelist and forward with the Tide Turner, Embalmer with the windows, and then Acrobat with the borrowed time. So aside from the flywheel, which everybody decided was something worth taking, it is going to be a little bit of variance here, 2 tides and 1 of the others. So definitely expecting quite a lot of dashes on these big moments. And I think if the chess players are able to get good flywheel value, that they can very easily walk out of this game with at least a tie.
But you're going to be loading right into the match, and it seems that the Lithian is going to be heading towards the forward, whereas the main body is going to be heading in the direction of this Novelist.
As yeah, we'll see what it is going to be here. On to the side of Eve here on this Novelist, as we'll wait for the Ivy to get this first mark down. Tether comes in, and it won't be an instant teleport over. Eve does get up to 23 stacks here as Novelist going to have to decide what to do here. Obviously still has a metaphor, so doesn't need to potentially risk taking any unneeded stacks. As a nice hit there. It's actually going to be a reveal coming out. Really nice work for the Ivy for a nice and early first hit. Metaphor still available, flywheel up in 7 seconds, as we'll have that blink up in about 15 here. So if this does end up being a blink down for the Ivy, this could be really good for their tempo here if they are able to get a quick one.
Absolutely, and that is going to be insolence activating already for this Ivy. Seems like they're going to be pressuring that middle cipher that the Acrobat is on while keeping the main body onto this Novelist.
As yeah, just throw a rock down onto that cipher, then move back over to the Novelist. Again, blink is available here. If you can't get a quick down onto the Novelist, I would expect to want to use it here. Nice metaphor to try and get out of the area from the Novelist, but Ivy just going to send the shadow, catch up, throw a stone down, and teleport on over. As we'll see if this blink down does come in here or what Ivy is going to want to do. Novelist not really in the best area in the world. Swing comes out, fakes it, then misses the blink over the wall, and disaster strikes for Violet.
Wow, yeah. Tried to bait out the potential flywheel from that not Acrobat, Novelist, but didn't quite work as the blink was failed. It's pretty crucial. God, that's Yeah, no, the novel is already in a pretty decent looping area with that palette down. Already really good. The first cipher is finished as the last two are about to be popped, so immediately really good initial kite from the novelist, but that, oh, not gonna be hit down.
And yeah, this is starting to become a bit of a problem here for this Ivy. 3 ciphers are done, and the other ciphers are getting straight started. No reason to waste time. As Novelist doesn't get that flywheel off, it is just going to be the down here. But again, look at the cipher progress. 3 are
Mm-hmm.
done, 2 more working. One's already up at a quarter progress. And again, this can become very dangerous. Ivy is one of those characters who can get some good slug value and try and turn down a couple of quick kills. As we'll see if Ivy is able to get anything going here. But again, chess players already with a round win in the series. The big result here could become massive for them as misses a swing onto the forward, does turn around, get the Novelist. So Tide Turner is going to turn a quick another down here into the Novelist, as again trying to harass here with the Shadow, with the Ostracons, as Novelist will get second shared pretty quick.
Yeah, doing really well with the cipher pressuring so far from the side of this Ivy. However, the ciphers are already really far along, so it seems like really gonna have to pick up the pace with the cipher pressuring as the forward is nearby to harass. Are we gonna see a balloon rescue? No, probably not.
As, yeah, it is going to be a move on, as we do already see the forward coming in here. 82 stacks at the moment, but does have full ball to work with, as it is going to be
Mm-hmm.
an attempt to move back on over. Brock's going to go down onto the Novelist as forward. Might get revealed here before this rescue comes out, as yeah, it is going to be the reveal. Ivy not actually going to hit here. They know the forward doesn't have a Tide Turner, so they're just going to try and turn this into the kill on the Novelist, as Ivy following the forward around, looking to try and gather whatever they can, as 60 stacks now, 70 stacks, has to get the saves, doesn't get that terror shock. Forward
Last
now going to use
second.
that ball, does get
Oh no.
quick down onto the forward, but your real problem here is that your Novelist has just gotten away.
Yeah, no, that was a really last second rescue from the forward there. Novelist was about a second away from getting sent off, but
Oh
managed to get the
no.
rescue. Oh.
This Cypher is primed here.
Oh
Acrobat's the
no.
only one with Borrowed, which means this could get popped very quickly here. As we'll see what the
Mm-hmm.
play is going to be. If the first hit comes out onto Acro, I would expect a pop after. We'll see what the play is going to be as save comes through. Acrobat gonna get not hit. Really good
Oh
dodge
my
there to
gosh.
not get hit into the reveal. As at this point, I think Acro is happy to just wait until this next hit comes in to pop this Cypher. As again, waiting for their own Borrowed is going to flywheel the
Amazing
reveal. Pop the
flywheel.
Cypher. Yeah, really good work there by the Acrobat. And again, this game is looking really dangerous for CNCE. 4-player endgame with everybody on their feet.
Mm-hmm. And forward just pulling most of the rest of his ball to alternate into a better kiting area and allow the rest of the teammates to decode the executes. It looks like this is going to be potential 3 escape as Blink coming out. Oh, oh, hold
We have a
on.
bomber coffin. This is
Oh,
dangerous, and bomber has a coffin
oh.
here. I think that we might be looking at a really dangerous scenario. Forward is going to get downed, and bomber did leave, so it should still be a kill here for the Ivy. But again, consider the state of the series. Chess have already won the first round 5-3. If their Hunter is able to get good value next game, we could be seeing the end of the series already. Is Acrobat going to try and figure something out? Detention still available, going to try and catch up to him, but Acrobat is out. It's a
Mm-hmm.
triple escape here, and if the chess player Hunter secures a tie, the series is over.
Wow, yeah, no, that was really such a good like end game, especially from the Acrobat, like managing to dodge two hits into the max stacks, which would normally be a double down situation, like a double hit situation, but that flywheel at the end was just so good, and that was just so well played from the survivors. However, it's definitely really super good plays from the Hunter there as well. Like the pressure was just so good from the Ivy. Just it unfortunately was not enough because the cipher rush was just too much, and that last cipher being popped when it was amazing. So yeah, super well played from both sides, I gotta say. But the it seems that the survivors just had too many resources on their hands, and that last cipher being popped when it was crucial.
And yeah, I mean, this is starting to become incredibly dangerous. CNCE already at a, not necessarily a, no, it is win or go home at this point. You have to win this specific game of Identity V, or you are just done. You are out of the tournament right now. You have to get a third escape right now, or you are just eliminated, and the chess players walk away with potentially one of the quickest BO3s we've seen this entire event. As again, we've been flying through these matches. And again, CNCE, they're gonna have to figure something out on this Survivor game.
Uh-huh. No, yeah, this is already looking, the stakes are already so crazy for the side of CNCE right now. Really gonna have to pull through, so I'm really excited to see what the potential picks are gonna be from the side of the survivors this time around. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to see some more surprise, riskier picks, but it's just a matter of time as we are waiting to invite the players right now. It's going to be getting everything set up. We are going to be still on Arms Factory with the band characters being... Is that correct? Are the band characters been updated yet?
Yeah, we're looking at Knight, Mind's Eye, Acro, and Goatman for the global bands.
Yes, so those four are out of the equation, and like I said, another Arms Factory map pick, so it seems that the side of CNC is really going to have to rely on their survivors to pull through and hopefully get a couple of escapes here if they want to continue onto the third round. But given the circumstances, there's a good chance that this could be the last match. But it is going to be a matter of time before we see. Both teams have been playing super well this tournament. Not this tournament. Well, this tournament, yeah, but these sets especially, these matches especially at this set. So I really wouldn't be too shocked if the survivors managed to get a couple of people out. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Just getting all the survivors into the lobby right now, and we're gonna be heading into picks and bans shortly.
So yeah, again, we are already in a very dangerous position here. Chess players potentially already looking to stamp their spot in the finals in an incredibly lightning quick series. As again, looking at it, they just need a tie here from Fafa, and again, they were able to secure it on the Goatman. They won that round 5-3, and while it's not necessarily the most overwhelming score, they're currently still in a position with a Hunter tie to take the series 10-6 with 2 rounds one in a row. So gonna have to get something done here for the CNCE survivors. They need at the very least to get a 3 escape to tie the round and move on to round 3, where they will still be at a disadvantage. If they want an advantage going into round 3, they will need a 4 escape right here, but shouldn't be the goal for them. The goal should be a 3 escape to tie the round and not get eliminated from the tournament. So we'll see what the idea is going to be here. CNCE have one more ban pick phase potentially left in the tournament.
And immediately it's going to be from the side of Fafa, Seer and Antiquarian banned out. So 2 standard, pretty solid ban picks. Just getting rid of those potential risks of the Owl and the Flute and Harassment. Oh. Huh.
An interesting pocket ban, I'm gonna say. I think that's homework.
Yeah, no, it does seem that was quite a personal ban from the side of CNC survivors. There's going to be a Soul Weaver ban.
Yeah, we are going to see a couple of picks come in here. We saw this one hovered at the end of the last pick ban. It is going to be the Gardener grabbed up on one for the side of CNCE. Aeroplanist as well, so definitely trying to grab some things that can try and stabilize a kite and extend it. And on the other side, Fafa is starting to just ban characters that can become annoying. As Prospector, definitely a character that has the ability to extend chases here, and obviously a well-played Prospector can buy a lot of time, but it is going to be the ban away here.
Absolutely. It's going to be a Novelist for the 3rd pick, so God, it's going to be interesting to see how the survivors work with this team comp, because it's already looking pretty solid. That Gardener does seem to be potentially avoiding a character such as Opera Singer, who I wouldn't be surprised if she was chosen, but that is going to be a Magician pick for the last choice, so nothing too out of the ordinary here. Pretty good team comp. There's going to be forward banned out for the last ban.
And I mean, yeah, these are just characters at this point that you don't want to chase into. Seer Owls are annoying, Stick is annoying, Magnets are annoying, Rugby Ball's annoying, and obviously there's a little bit more to the bands than just pure annoyance. But it is going to be interesting to see from Fafa. Again, only needs a tie to make their way to the finals and guarantee at least a silver medal. As Gardener, Aeroplanist, Novelist, and Mage, they need to get 3 of them out here to make their way, not even to finals, just further into the series. So we'll see how CNCE does here, as it is certainly going to be a little bit of a mess here, as at this point, Gardener, Arrow, Novelist, Mage, what are you thinking about going here as the Hunter to get a tie?
Oh, for a tie, there's a lot of really solid tie hunters that Fafa has available, but I feel like it wouldn't be too shocking to see a more standard meta pick just to secure something. But I feel like given the position that chess players are in right now, we could see a more unique pick, a more personal pick. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Disciple. There it is.
I mean, you talk about a staple tie hunter, and Disciple is one of the ones that comes to most people's minds, at least within the first 3 to 5 characters. Disciple is the staple definition of tie hunter. You bring detention, you get a kill during the game, you get a kill at the end game, and you can very consistently get a tie on Disciple if you don't have a cataclysmically horrible chase or some key mistake. And Fafa needs to pick up 2 survivors here and chess book their way forward.
Yeah, and it seems that the builds for the survivors is going to be quad borrowed time, as well as double tied on the Gardener and Aeroplanist, as well as knee-jerk reflex on the Magician and flywheel onto that Novelist, as pretty standard spawn selections so far here, with the Novelist spawning closer to factory, as well as Magician, Gardener, and Aeroplanist spawning in a vertical line, with the Disciple spawning right next to the Novelist, and the Gardener could go for the Aeroplanist here. However, I wouldn't doubt the Gardener to be the first chase.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how the survivors want to play this. They know the situation they're in, they've drafted accordingly. They've brought 4 characters that can kite, they've brought 4 borrowed times, a Tide Turner on Aeroplanist, a Tide Turner on Gardener, a Flywheel on the Novelist, and Windows on the Mage. As again, they need to get 3 escapes here. Again, this team has fought through the round of 32, the round of 16, the round of 8 quarterfinals, and they are here 4 teams left to make their way into finals, and they could potentially face the end at Fafa's Disciple here, as we'll see how Fafa does hunting for a tie. The survivors hunting for a 3 escape here on the Arms Factory for what could already be our last half of IDV for this set.
You know, for sure, this is going to be the round 2 second half, and like you said, could potentially be the last match, as we are going to be heading right into the match with chess players Hunter versus CNCE survivors. So yeah, just loading in right now, and it seems that heading in the direction of the Aeroplanist right now, but are we going to see a change?
And yeah, it should be at this point a commitment to the arrow. It shouldn't really matter who we're chasing and where we're chasing them, as Fafa does have detention, does have trump card. We're playing for a tie, so we are perfectly fine taking 4 ciphers to kill this Aeroplanist. And while that is kill, not just a down, we'll see a nice jump in. First hit already going to come in for the Disciples, trying to pull the cat back around, already going for some trickery here, as we'll see the first hit come in. Arrow does still have some jetpacks to work with here, of course, and we're going to need to see Jeff start to use them up pretty soon here, as first set with packs will be used, but the cat is going to grab onto him, and this is going to be a really early down for Disciple, and this is not the start you need if you're CNCE.
Yeah, no, really good start for Disciple right now. Oh, dude, that was just barely on the edge of grabbing that Aeroplanist. That cat was very close, but managed to get the stun onto him and get a pretty early chair. So Cyphers are at 80, 70, and 33 right now. So it seems that we're going to be sending in the Gardener for the first rescue, but also the Novelist is coming in. So curious as to see what they're going to do here.
And I mean, yeah, at this point, they already just have to try and come play this pseudo team fight style. As
Mhm.
Cats are gonna get pulled back in, flywheels coming out, swings are coming out. They're doing anything they can. Novelist tanks the hit, stuns come out now. They're gonna try and turn it onto the Aeroplanist. Blink available. It will be the Metaphor stun
Wow.
by the survivors for the moment to try and stall out. Aeroplane is now the target. Nice blink flash,
Really
though.
good blink.
Thought is not getting outplayed today, and it's going to be a second down on the Aeroplanist already. Gardner going to come dismantle the chair, but you have plenty of time to drop, repair chair, break the pallet, and again, Fafa, this acceleration, really, really good. Nice early down at almost no cost to the Hunter. Get a nice blink down after a really expensive rescue, and they used a couple things there, but again, already Aeroplanist second chair, and you only need 2 kills.
Yeah, no, such a an amazing early game from Fafa here. It seems that the ciphers aren't really as far along as the survivors would want. Oh, is this gonna be no? Oh no.
I mean, the game's over.
Yeah.
Aeroplanist isn't getting rescued before he goes down. Gardner's going on chair. We have detention. I mean, there's still a way for miracles to descend here on the Arms Factory, but at this point, chess players, you see, looking at the camera, Fafa could not be more thrilled with the pace of the game.
Yeah, no, even if the ciphers manage to rush so much, it's really a weak position for the survivors right now, and it does seem like oh, I hate to say it for the set of survivors right now, but it does seem that the oh okay, nice hit, but it does seem that the match is already really to the benefit of Fafa right now, as gonna be staying on this Gardner, and that's gonna be a hit down, and both other survivors are injured, and it really does look like this is going to be a win for Fafa, if not a 4K.
And yeah, Novelist just trying to come get some trickery going on, trying to charge up this next metaphors. They need to do something. They should know the stakes they're in. You have to try and rescue the Gardener, as if you don't, you're simply eliminated. But at this point, it doesn't really feel like there's much that they can do. Emotes are coming out. Fafa setting the bow, setting the salute, waiting behind the wall. Mage comes in, Cat comes out, gonna miss on the bite, comes out, Magician gonna get hit down there, but it isn't on the Gardener. This is technically what you need to happen, but Fafa does not give a damn about the Mage. Bubble comes out, Gardner gonna get over the pallet in time as it moves back on. Cat gonna grab onto Justice. Justice gets rooted. Gardner, Bubble goes down. Gardner 360 charge hit down. Unless Novelist can find a way to pull God himself in to get this save before chair, that's gonna be the game. Justice trying to hold on, trying to bait the pallets, moving on to the Novelist. BM from Fafa trying to get the balloon hit here, but with this chair, Gardner is dead. It's a tie game, which means it's a 2-0 round win for the chess players, and while we'll play the rest of the match out for fun, it will be the chess players moving into the finals.
Yeah, no, super like these entire matches, especially this match, super well played from both teams, but especially Fafa here. Really, you know, oh, that's gonna be it. Yeah, no, that's it. Uh, it was already a loss for the set overall, but it seems that this is going to be, really securing that loss just for the survivors. It is unfortunate to see, but really well played from both sides, regardless.
And yeah, it is just going to be the forfeit coming in, as it is going to be an 8-1 round, making it a 13-4 victory in favor of the chess players. And well, they probably could have gotten a 2, maybe a 2 escape there if they played for the 2 escape. They know the situation they're in. They have to go for these rescues, and the unfortunate down there for the survivors on that Aeroplanist second save just turned that tempo so much higher for the Disciple. And at the end of the day, we're only an hour since we started that first coin flip, but it's already a 2-0 sweep for the chess players.
Yeah, no, the chess players just did so well those matches, as well as CNCE, but the chess players inevitably did take away the win, and they are going to be making it to the finals. Super exciting to see, super eager to see how they play there. However, don't deny the power of CNCE. They did super well those matches. There's a reason they made it this far. I said it before and I'll say it again. They did not get here for no reason. Both teams have played so well throughout this tournament, and it is definitely fair to commend CNCE for their efforts into making it this far. So yeah, extremely well played from both sides. Amazing matches to watch. However, the chess players did just pull through well enough and make it to the finals.
And yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. CNCE have taken down some fantastic competition. They 12-5 swept the sides of Halcyon. They've beaten some other really, really good teams on their way here. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, that is going to be it for them. They ended out in joint 3rd and 4th place. I don't think they're playing that extra match, but joint 3rd in such a large tournament with so many fantastic players, still a fantastic result for them overall. Obviously, not the way they wanted the day to go, but still ending on top 3, top 4 out of 32 plus teams at the start. Very, very solid performance from CNCE overall, but unfortunately for them, chess players outmaneuvered them today. Survivors for them played fantastic to get those 3 escapes on those survivor rounds, and at the end of the day, the survivors for chess players, obviously still credit to the hunter, of course, but the survivors really helped out, got really nice advantages in the first half of both rounds, and they move on to face the winner of 637 and H2O, which is still happening as oh, no, it's not. Spoiler alert coming up. It is going to be, I believe, 637 getting a sweep over the side of Hope to Overcome, so it is going to be chess players versus 637 in the finals.
So yeah, really excited for that. That's going to be happening likely at some point next weekend, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the set between CC versus CNCE, so really, really glad to be here, really glad to commentate for that amazing set, the amazing matchups. All players did super well, and yeah, do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Of course, thank you to everybody for coming out and watching this semi-final. Of course, for those watching the other semi-final, potentially moving over here. For those who didn't catch it, it is a chess sweep here as well. So 637 chess, both of them swept their semi-finals with favorable results, and definitely going to be a fun final. But again, thank you all for joining. I've been Colonel, that's been Milo, we've been here with Lulzy, and make sure to come back for the finals sometime in the next week or two.
Yeah, we'll have information on the finals coming up, probably within the next week or two, like you said. But nonetheless, keep an eye out for that.